You know that feeling when you've been trying to move to Australia for ages and every time you check the rules, it feels like they've changed the whole game. One moment, teachers are in demand. Next, it's plumbers. Then suddenly, data analysts are the new heroes of the economy. Well, buckle up because in this video, we're breaking down Australia's latest skills shortage update, what it really means for your PR chances, and why this time the list might actually be in your favor if you play it smart. Let's start with a fact. Australia doesn't have a skills shortage problem. It has a skills timing problem. Here's what I mean. For years, Australia's been yelling, "We need skilled workers," and at the same time, making it feel like you need a PhD in patience just to get your visa processed. But things are shifting. The government has realized something painfully obvious. You can't build a growing economy with an empty workforce, especially when locals would rather become influencers, remote workers, or dog trainers than electricians, aged care nurses, or bricklayers. So, instead of keeping the door half open, Australia is quietly swinging it wider, if you have the right skills. The reality behind the skills shortage. Let's decode what's actually happening. Australia's economy is still strong, but the cracks are showing. There's a shortage in construction, healthcare, engineering, education, and tech. Basically, the pillars that keep the country running. Hospitals can't find enough nurses, schools are running short on teachers, infrastructure projects are stalling because there aren't enough tradespeople to pour the concrete, and yet employers are begging for workers. So, the government's new skills shortage update is less of a list and more like a public confession. We can't do this without you. The new skills lists, now with less confusion. In the past, there were so many lists it felt like Pokemon. You had to catch them all, the MLTSSL, STSOL, ROL, and whatever new abbreviation they made up that week. But as of 2025, the government is simplifying it. The goal is to make PR pathways faster, clearer, and more realistic. Here's what that means. If your job is critical to Australia's future, you're in. Think healthcare, renewable energy, education, IT, and construction. These are the golden sectors right now. Regional demand also rules the game. Smaller cities are screaming for workers, and they're offering faster PR tracks. Places like Adelaide, Darwin, Hobart, and Townsville aren't just postcard destinations anymore. They're immigration magnets. Skill-based migration is also getting priority. No matter where you're from, if you can fill a shortage, you move up the queue. And for the first time, the government is actually listening to employers instead of just reading reports. Big companies are now directly feeding data into the system to shape the list, meaning real demand translates into real visa opportunities. The hidden opportunity. Easy PR isn't magic, it's strategy. Now, let's talk about the phrase everyone loves. Easy PR. Spoiler. There's no magic form you can download for that, but there are easier routes appearing, if you know where to look. Here's the trick. Australia's trying to match skills with geography. That's where the easy part hides. For example, if you're a nurse in Sydney, you'll face competition. But if you move to regional South Australia or Western Queensland, you might get a job and a PR nomination before your city friends even get an interview. It's less about your occupation alone, and more about where you're willing to go. That's why the government is throwing incentives, priority processing, regional visas, even direct PR nomination for anyone brave enough to venture beyond the major cities. So, if you're serious about PR, start thinking like an economist, not a tourist. What sectors are hot in 2025? Now, let's get to the juicy bit. Who's on the list this year? The 2025 skills. Priority list has leaned heavily toward jobs that build, heal, and innovate. Here's what's cooking. Healthcare and aged care, engineering and construction, education, technology, hospitality, and tourism. So yes, whether you fix pipes or fix servers, you've got a shot. The policy shifts that make PR easier. Now, let's talk about what's actually changing. The behind-the-scenes stuff that affects your PR timeline. Faster visa processing. The government's cracking down on delays. Skilled visa processing times are being trimmed down, and in some cases, to just a few weeks for priority sectors. Extra points are also allocated for working regionally, for higher English scores, and for occupations in critical demand. Think of it as Australia's version of a loyalty program. Companies can now sponsor migrants more easily, and even smaller businesses can get accredited faster. Many temporary visas now lead directly to PR, especially under the skilled regional or employer nomination programs. So you no longer have to live in limbo for years. Basically, Australia's realizing that if they want you to commit long-term, they've got to offer something permanent in return. Why Australia needs you. Here's the part most reports don't tell you. Australia's population is aging faster than it's growing. Birth rates are down, and entire industries are on life support without skilled migrants. You are not just another number in the immigration queue. You're the solution to a national problem. Think about it. When one skilled migrant nurse joins an aged care home, 10 patients get proper care. When one IT engineer fixes a system glitch, hundreds of businesses stay afloat. When one construction worker shows up, another house gets built. This is why the government is shifting from selective immigration to strategic immigration. They're not just importing skills, they're importing stability. And the faster they make that happen, the faster they keep the economy alive. The fastest movers are the ones who apply as soon as their occupation reopens. The unexpected winners. Here's something new. Blue-collar and trade workers are finally getting their moment. For years, white-collar jobs dominated PR programs. But now, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, and mechanics are in higher demand than accountants and marketing managers combined. This is because Australia can train more managers, but it can't magically create 1,000 plumbers overnight. So, if you've got hands-on skills, this is your golden era. And for IT workers, the digital sector's booming too. But you'll stand out more if you combine tech with another skill. For example, cybersecurity for health systems, or data analytics for construction. Hybrid roles are the new currency. The big picture. Why this update feels different. We've seen plenty of skill shortage updates over the years, and most of them read like bureaucratic poetry, lots of words but very little meaning. But this one feels different, because Australia isn't just reacting, it's rethinking. They're aligning migration with real-time labour data, linking employer needs to visa approvals, and making regional migration not just an afterthought, but the main stage. It's less about checking boxes and more about plugging gaps fast. This is good news. It means the immigration system is finally catching up to the economy, not the other way around. Australia's not just open, it's asking for help. And if you can deliver that help, your PR dream might be closer than you think. That's your full Australia skills shortage update. Decoded, simplified, and reality checked. Remember, PR in Australia isn't about luck. It's about timing, location, and knowing where you're wanted most. So, start planning smart